political talk here. And today we're going to be looking at the 2024 presidential election and doing a very far out prediction. So keep in mind we're 4 years away from the election, but we're going to do this video because I've gotten a lot of requests to do it, especially from JJ Holmes and Let's Talk Politics, as well as UEP. So we're going to do this video with Michael Pence being the Republican nominee for the Republicans, and supposing that Joe Biden won the election and Kamala Harris goes on to be the nominee because Joe Biden decided just through one term in election. So let's start by going through our Democratic safe states. So I think at this point, there is a couple of places where Democrats would still do very well, but by the time we get to 2024, there's going to be a lot of changes in the electoral map. So I think Oregon would be ousted as a swing state, and we might even see different changes when it comes to the electoral map. And a lot of these states that used to be safe for the Republicans will no longer be safe for them, as well as a certain amount of states that were somewhat safe for the Republicans. Now they might, for the Democrats, my bad, now they might be going to the opposite party. So I think it's going to be a very interesting election, and we're going to see specifically things that change. And I'm going to start off by saying that some states like Virginia and Colorado, these states might be solidly red by the time we get to 2024. For that reason, I'm giving them to Kamala Harris at this early on. Now, for the Republicans, I would put states that they would win usually. I guess states like Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, Utah, maybe Alaska, North and South Dakota. I think at this point, kind of Nebraska minus the 2nd congressional district. And then we're going to start seeing a lot of changes when it comes to the Sun Belt. And I'm going to look at this, and then we're going to see which states are looking like they're trending a little bit more Republican compared to what they are now, and a little bit more Democrat. So this would be our starting map, I think, for a 2024 presidential election, with a lot of states in the South changing, not being into the safe margin. So we're going to start with a margin of 101 for Pence and 202 for Harris. This comes to show that Democrats in the 2024 presidential election, we have a great starting off map, and it's literally 2 times as much of electoral votes they're starting off with compared to Republicans. So let's start off by filling some likely Democratic states. I think at this point in time, we're going to see states like Oregon go by likely margins. It's just because this state has a lot of Republican voters, and a lot of the Democrat liberals are leaving and going to other parts of the country, and that's why you're seeing a big amount of growth with Democrats in the Southeast, in the Sun Belt. And the Sun Belt is generally trending more Democratic. Why? Well, generally speaking, it's trending more Democratic because a lot of the people that lived in areas more like the North or the Midwest are moving to the Sun Belt. Yeah, there's some demographical changes, but the Sun Belt and the people moving is one of the biggest changes. So Oregon, I would put in the likely column for the Democrats. And I think at this point, states like Nevada would be like around 10 to 15 points. Arizona would probably be anywhere from 5 to 10 points. And the Rust Belt in general, with exception of maybe Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, I think would be pretty solid for the Democrats in a likely margin. So now that we see this, where are the Republicans getting some more states? Because at this point, we haven't even started the map already, and we're just by likely margins, and Democrats just need to win a couple states, if not 1 or 2, to win the election. Well, I think they have to definitely win. I think by likely margins, they would win pretty much the South. Mississippi, Alabama, and South Carolina. And I think that's it. Remember that we're also dealing with a very specific candidate. Mike Pence is not the same person as Trump. He's not going to bring up these people by super big voters, but he's not enthusiastic. Mike Pence could be seen like a very boring type of person. He's not a good debater compared to something like Kamala Harris, but still, it's somewhat surmountable. So, Kamala Harris, where is she getting some lean states? I think at this point in time, states like North Carolina and Florida, these states are suffering very big demographical changes, which are leaning towards the Democrat that already gives Kamala Harris the election. And I think another state would be the state of New Hampshire. I think it's going to go narrow a little bit, down a little bit more, and still be in the lean margin, but not going to be the growth for the Democrats is not going to be the same as seen in states like Nevada or Arizona. And I think another state we could add to this list would be the state of Georgia. So some people are calling me crazy don't call me crazy, and before you go to the comments, let me explain. with the state of Georgia, I feel this might happen just because of the fact that the Democrats are pretty close right now. Considering that we're a couple years away, and looking at how Arizona went to the Republicans by 3 to 4 points, and now it's projected to go to the Democrats by 3 or 4 points. I mean, the state of Georgia could easily go through a phase like that, and that's why I put it in the lean margin with North Carolina and Florida. And those are going to be our states for the Democrats in the 2024 presidential election. And for the Republicans, I would put states like Maine 2nd Congressional District, maybe Ohio, and maybe a state like Iowa. I feel like those states would stay with the Republicans in 2024, but as well as Nebraska's 2nd Congressional District. This district is considerably very moderate in a sense, but I think Republicans will still narrowly hold on to this to this state. And now these are the last 3 states, and I think these are going to be the closest states in 2024. It would be Texas, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. So with Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, the thing is that Democrats might be still party fatigue, and even in this 2020 election, there's a high possibility of Trump winning these states. Not like super high, like he's winning, but it's like one of the biggest states that he can actually upset. That's expected to go to Democrats, and for that reason, I think in maybe 2024 we could see a state like Wisconsin go for the Democrats. And I think at this point that would be it. For the Republicans, my bad. And for Democrats, 2024, Texas is looking like it's going to be pretty likely, along with Pennsylvania. So I'm putting them in the tilt margin. So overall, we can see that Democrats are being benefited from these demographical changes. And it's simply the fact that there's more Democrats being born, essentially. Currently, like the influx of voters, there is still a big batch of Republicans, but a lot of Republicans are dying. I mean this like dying, most of the heavy Republican generations are going to start to like phase out. So, for example, the baby boomers are soon going to start phasing out, and we're going to see more Gen Z vote, which at the end of the day is going to trend a lot more Democratic. And for this reason, even though it's 4 years ahead, we're going to be seeing very big demographical changes. And when we're talking 2028, 2032, all these different states, then it's going to be interesting to see. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, please give it a huge thumbs up, like and subscribe, and turn on post notifications. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and goodbye.